Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. A lot of interesting stuff to show you guys today, some UFO footage, but first, a new announcement coming from NASA relating to their search for alien life inside the oceans on alien planets. NASA is set to announce this exciting news about these ocean planets this coming week, and it definitely has something specific to do with water, to do with oceans. More specifically, the agency is planning a news conference for Thursday, April 13th to reveal, quote, new results about ocean worlds. And we've already got many people theorizing that this could have something to do with evidence of living creatures thriving in the deep waters of these mystery ocean planets, one of them being possibly Europa, which is a moon of Jupiter that contains an extremely frigid outer icy core, but underneath is a much warmer saltwater ocean very similar to our own that's being heated as the moon stretches and contracts due to the enormous gravitational pull of Jupiter. And so NASA is going to be using this event to talk about discoveries made by the Cassini spacecraft as well as the Hubble Space Telescope. NASA is quoted as saying that these new discoveries will help inform future ocean world explorations. And so we will eagerly await April 13th with a little bit of bated breath, because when it comes to NASA, they usually keep all of the juicy information to themselves. But you never know. So, with that news out of the way, I want to show you guys some new pieces of UFO footage. The first of which was of a very strange object that was captured sitting above the city of Cleveland, Ohio, my home state, actually. And it was recorded off of a live stream, a webcam that you can find on a website called earthcam.com. Gives you all these views of different cities all over the world. And so a man by the name of Orlando Bosca was looking at the Cleveland skyline today when he noticed this strange object that you're seeing here, sitting still, tilted sideways in the sky, which he took a screen recording of. And you're seeing that here, and as he zooms in on this thing, this doesn't look like your typical drone or blimp or anything like that. I mean, I've looked at this multiple times, and the way this thing is sitting in the sky, kind of tilted on its end, that also is very mysterious. It could be something natural. I'm sure many of you are from Cleveland or the Cleveland area, and you may be able to post here immediately and tell us, well, it was just this, or it was that, it was a balloon. And so that's what I'm hoping to figure out here. But it is very strange, and I went back into some earlier Earth cam footage of the skyline, and I haven't been able to find this object. I'm showing you some different screenshots here from yesterday, the day before that, and I can't seem to find this object, whatever it is. So, was this some sort of drone? Is it a blimp, a balloon of some sort? Maybe one of you guys can tell me. I'm showing you some close-ups here, and the object does seem to move a little bit. Every now and then you can kind of slightly see it moving, and it looks to have, I don't know, some arms or something sticking off of it, but I am unable to discern clearly what this is. So anyone from Cleveland see this thing, have any more info, do let me know. On to another piece of footage sent in to me by a viewer, this time of something that was seen shooting over the top of the International Space Station and heading down toward planet Earth. So check this out. Okay, so a very short clip here sent in by Nick Lorendi, who was watching the NASA live stream a few days ago between 2 and 3 a.m. when he saw this object jet past the International Space Station at a very high rate of speed. Now, I'm going to slow this down here, and you've probably noticed a couple things in this footage. But let me just slow this down here and we'll analyze what we're seeing, and we can get a better shot of these things. So, before we even see the UFO, we see what looks like a flash of something. Now, this could be something being jettisoned from the ISS, although this UFO looks to appear from above and behind, wherever this flash came from. Now, it's my understanding that this footage is actually from the helmet camera of one of the astronauts who was outside of the ISS doing some work, doing a spacewalk. And so this flash that we're seeing here could be his hand or his arm, something moving in the background. And this object that we see fly by could be something completely different that has nothing to do with that. So we see this movement, and then we see what it looks like one, but in other frames it looks like two objects at an extremely high rate of speed down towards the Earth. And I'm going to pause it here, and we'll zoom in on this object here. I mean, it looks large. I mean, it's large enough for us to see. It doesn't look like your little typical ice crystal or a piece of space dust that's just floating by. This thing is blasting past, and it does have some dimension and some shape to it. So we're zoomed in here, and this thing definitely looks to have some shape to it, sort of triangular from this nature, possibly more cylinder-like, I don't know. It even looks to have a small dark spot here in this picture. And so in these other shots, we may just be seeing some blurring effect here, which makes it look like two objects. I'm not sure, but definitely wanted to show you here. We all know there is not a shortage of UFO activity happening in space. But I'll leave it up to you guys as to whether this looks natural, or do we have a bona fide UFO sighting here that's unidentified? According to what I can see, I don't think we're going to be able to find any concrete evidence to say if this was or wasn't natural, but very interesting nonetheless. Now on to another piece of footage that was sent over to me from Jason White out of Spokane, Washington, who said that he was out on his way to grab a bite to eat when he noticed these mysterious circular clouds in the sky. And so he took out his camera and captured this here. So check this out.
There's a new ring on the opposite side. Now it's going to be really hard to see, but it's right there. And this thing goes all the way around. Oh, how bizarre. Secure team. Here we go, buddy.
All right, so we haven't featured any of these circle clouds in a while. If you remember last year, it was every other few days that we were getting in footage and photographs of these really strange, I mean, perfect circular looking clouds. I'm assuming they were clouds, or at least that's just what they took on the appearance of. But last year, we were getting footage from all over, Australia, Germany, the United States, of these circular formations that would just appear by themselves, and there would be no trail leading to them. Kind of like you would think if a plane were flying by and this was just, he made a circle and kept going. These things were completely by themselves, isolated. And we began seeing them pop up in mass last year, in the mid to late months of 2016. Sometimes they would be very smooth, other times they would be like you're seeing here. This was captured out of Australia, very menacing looking. And, sometimes people would report UFOs coming from them or hovering near the rings, strange weather after these things would appear. And there's been a lot of talk as to what these were. Is this, again, something natural? Is this some sort of portal or wormhole that opened? We've certainly seen some strange activity in our skies, and with all of the experiments that have been ongoing at CERN and HARP and all of these things that are messing with our atmospheres, messing with physics and laws of the universe that shouldn't be messed with. And I do think that a sizable amount of these strange phenomena that we're seeing in the sky are a result of that. So anybody from Spokane, Washington, see these two rings that look like one inside of the other, send me an email if you have seen these things before, or if you guys get any footage where you're from, don't hesitate to send it in. Very interesting stuff, so thank you, Mr. White. Now, speaking of the strange double rings that you just saw in this footage, I want to show you another very strange finding that I think may link up to this, that was sent to me from a viewer who was using Google Earth and was looking at some lakes in the country of Norway. And as he was moving over this particular lake here, he discovered, just like we saw in the two double rings in the sky, well, he found something very similar moving under the waters of this lake here. And I want you to put your attention right here where I'm circling. You may already be able to see it, but do you notice this sort of shiny ring that's sticking out from the water? Let's go ahead and zoom in closer. All right, and here we are. And once again, we see this sort of a double ring effect here, some sort of formation that looks to be reflecting light. We have about a half circle here, but it looks perfect. I'm not sure if this is below the water. It looks to be below the water. And as we zoom in a little closer here, we can see what looks like the start of an inner ring. And then as we move over here, we can even see these small little reflective dots making up part of the ring. I don't know if this is an object under the water. So, you know, it was something just mysterious that was found on or below this lake, and it can't be found in any earlier satellite photographs. So we know it's nothing stationary. And the viewer, you know, he thought that this was some sort of disc underneath the water, or possibly a reflection from something above. But I told him I would share it with you guys. I'll put the coordinates to this down in the video description, and you can let me know what you guys think. Alright, so with that today, before we end the video, I have some new film recommendations for you guys. The other night, my wife and I watched two very eerie, very scary films, new films that just came out. And we watched these on Amazon, and it's only a couple bucks to rent them, and I'm sure many of you can find other means to download and watch these films. But the first film that we really, really liked was a new film called Savage Land. And this film is like a documentary or a mockumentary. I mean, I thought it was real after we watched it. That's how real and well done this film was made. But the storyline of this documentary goes on to talk about this small border town right on the Arizona-Mexico border that overnight is completely wiped out. All of the people in the town are killed overnight. And eventually suspicion falls on a lone migrant worker, a Mexican immigrant, who they believe murdered all of these people. But then later on, they discover a roll of film on this man containing photographs that he had snapped during the night when this whole town of around 60 people were killed. And what they find on these photographs points to something else, and something very terrifying other than this man. That was the reason behind this town being wiped out. It's extremely creepy, scary, edge of your seat. I'll probably watch it again tonight. It was so good. But like I said, it's like a documentary, and it's one of the coolest concepts and films that I've seen in a long time. So it's called Savage Land. Be sure to check it out. It's on Amazon, couple bucks to rent it. Let me know what you guys think. And another film, which is much more of a sort of a science fiction horror film that just came out, is called The Void. And if you like films about alternate dimensions and stuff like that, this has like a horror / science fiction twist on that concept. And the description for this film is that a local police officer of a small town comes upon a limping, blood-covered man walking down the street, who he takes to the hospital. After which, he discovers that the patients and the staffers inside the hospital are slowly turning into something inhuman or evil. And they discover this gateway to what can only be described as pure evil. But this entire movie is so awesome because The whole film is made with nothing but practical film special effects, as in there is no CGI in this film. So that's something we rarely see, and again, this is another edge of your seat, well-made, one of the most well-made horror films I've ever seen, and it will scare the bejesus out of you guys. So check out The Void as well. 2 epic films that you need to turn the lights out, sit with your significant other or by yourself if you dare, and watch tonight. So I will put the links to the Amazon rentals of these down in the video description, and be sure to let me know what you guys think about everything we've spoken about today. Alright, so thank you all for stopping by today. Be sure to like and share this video on your way out. Stop by our Patreon page and support the channel, and I will see you all back in just a bit. Stay safe, guys.